So guys, today we wanted to talk about whether the first Descendant game is dying or not, but first we wanted to talk about the newest grind we have added to the game, the swords. So we finally, after 2 weeks, finished fully upgrading the swords, didn't we?
Both of them are done. Both of them are fully maxed out. We put cores in them. They're not the best. We don't have all the modules, but they're, pretty decent. Not saying they're decent in the game. They're as pretty decent as they're going to be as far as the build goes for us right now. And that grind, I mean, I think it took us like 11 or 12 days, a little bit. I'd say we averaged an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours a day. So it's not like we were putting in huge time each day, but it still took forever because we got the parts. We got the parts, like the fiber and the code and stuff. We got all the parts, which took a while. But then it took like 3 days or 4 days extra just to get the materials.
Yeah.
Because they did do an update, right? They did do an update that improved it. But it's just so bad. It's so bad getting those materials.
Yeah, and when I read the patch notes about the improvement on that update with the materials, first I was happy thinking, oh, they might lower it instead of 100 per sword. Every time you craft all 3 parts, it will be like, I don't know, like 50 max or 25 or something. No, I don't know if they added more boxes or when you open each box, because before you only can get between 2 to 5 for each one. I don't know if you get more out of the same box.
The patch notes implied that there was I thought it was like 1.5 times more or something. I don't remember, but that's what it implied. It implied there was more in the box. But we had finished the grind, right? We had finished the grind by the time they had done it. That patch came out a couple days after we had finished grinding for them, or a day or after we'd finished it. But mostly what it was is that it seemed like they reduced the genetic boxes, because some runs there would be only genetic, a few special, and like 0 experimental.
Yeah.
That was a really bad box. But they moved them. They put them into different clusters, so they were more convenient to get to. I actually was missing them because I'd ran that mission like hundreds of times, and so I was so used to doing it one way, and then I just skipped over them. They were right in front of my face, and I just didn't even see them because they moved them. Some of them.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue for us was that the source, one of them, the one with the crits, the heavy one, you can make it work good enough. There's builds out there where it's actually kind of strong. But I don't think they're worth the grind. I don't think they're worth 2 weeks of grinding on and off when they're not even that good.
One thing I want to say about them before we finish is that I agree with you. I don't think they're that great. I think the Deus Ex Manus is better, even if it kind of runs out of ammo and stuff. But it's the better sword, and I suppose Serena is just such a good example of it. I suppose it's easier for them to add something into the game that's underwhelming, but then buff it and make it better to where it's not broken. So I would assume that I think there's a third sword that might be better. Maybe they make these better. That's why we finished it, because we assume they'll make them better, and it's easier to start underwhelming than have it be overperforming and then have to not know how to deal with it like Serena. So but right now, I mean, no, that grind was just so bad. I thought they'd make it better, but they still haven't.
If anything, I think this new grind hurt them more than anything. They barely brought enough players back, at least not on Steam. I know you're going to say, consoles, whatever. Consoles probably have the same similar numbers, maybe a tiny bit more if you put together like the Xbox and the PlayStation. But I don't think it's good enough to say, oh, the game is like flourishing in console, to compare it with against computers. So the point is, I'm fine them doing something that is not too overpowered like they did with Serena, then not knowing what to do with it. But at the same time, it had to be worth it. Because if you're going to make everybody so annoyed by it that they want to just leave and say, screw this, and I don't want to play this game anymore, that is actually hurting the game. So this connects with our main point of this video, is the game actually dying?
So we talked about it. We've talked about it in a different video. We talked about it at the beginning here, but let's just start with the most recent here, even though it's going to be messy. The newest update, the second, is it the second? I think it's the second major update part to this new season.
Yeah.
And that would be the swords and the sword grind. Honestly, when that dropped, this is what I was most like interested in. I think I said excited, but that's too strong of a word. Interested in was the melee, the swords, and it was severely underwhelming in general and a horrible grind. Even if they improved it, they just made it so bad, probably to keep you, I guess, engaged in the video game. So until the new stuff comes out, but that grind was so bad when that update came out. I don't even know. Yeah, you could probably figure it out, but when I saw the numbers, the first day, it was like I don't even know if it was 10,000. I don't even know if there was 10,000 people that came back or not came back, but the numbers jumped. The numbers didn't really jump from a major patch, a major update, and within a day, they were basically back down to where they were because people were disgusted with it. I'm not saying everybody, I'm generalizing here, but a lot of people were so disgusted with how to get it, with the sword pass, with all that stuff they tried doing, and the amount of extra materials you have to do to craft these swords. It released really bad. It was just poorly executed, in my opinion.
I think a lot of people were unhappy that we had to make it back to the Void Vessel, even if it was a new mission, because all those missions feel exactly the same. And on top of that, the only thing that the Void Vessel was unique about wasn't even part of this second mission, where you get, instead of one door, you go through the other door. So there's nothing unique about this mission that it feels new enough to make you excited to come back to that Void Vessel. Before we get further into this discussion, we actually made a video on January 1st, 2025. The game came out the year before in summer. People were unhappy that we were talking about the death or something that was pretty much new. And the same things we talk about there is something that is happening right now. We were worried that the only thing this game was going to bring back was skins, and the content was always the same. Even if you have different maps, the content itself is a rinse and reuse of everything we have been doing since the beginning in the game.
So like you said, the game came out last summer, not this most recent summer, the summer before in 2024. So it had only been out for, I think it came out in July, somewhere in July, early July. So it had only been like 6 months since we covered it. But if you really look at that, we like the game. We have like 1,000 hours in the game. I want to see it do well, but even if you're one of those people that are defending it, or we're saying that that's too early, it's scary that after 6 months, there's already discussion about it. Not just from us. There's other people that have been talking about it. There's people that are talking about it in the forums. There's people talking about it in the game. So it's a little bit, I guess it would make, if I'm a developer, it would make me a little bit nervous that people are already talking about it 6 months into the life of it. Well, now we're over a year into the game, and the same things are happening. A lot of the same arguments, even worse things with the sword. It doesn't seem to be getting better. The newest update that brought Field Colossus, Axiom, the giant Colossus, the hover bikes, all that stuff. The beginning of the season, before I knew what was going to happen, I thought it was going to be better. They had done some really weak, not great patches up to that point because there was such a big gap in between there. It kept getting pushed back, whatever things were happening. So that between this current season and the one before, it just felt like there was a really big gap there, and not much happened. And I think that was really, really hard on the game. They focused on skins and jiggle physics and all that stuff instead of actual good, fun content in a video game. And then this season dropped, and Axiom, 4 people on the map. There's nothing there. It's so dead. We've been playing Borderlands, and yeah, it's a completely different studio and a different game, so how do you compare them? But open world, alive, lots of stuff. The side missions are fun and good. It's awesome. And then you have Axiom here that is boring. The hover bike events are boring. You have to do those little random events to get the materials to upgrade your hover bike. Those are boring and stupid. And the missions are boring. And the performance was bad. The big Colossus is just so easy and so boring. And he's huge, but it just boring. The swords, underwhelming. They might get better eventually. The grind for the swords was terrible. One thing I did forget to mention that also does bother me about this season, just as things that I don't like, would be Wall Crasher. I said he was easy and he's kind of boring. Yeah, they made him like really big and everything, but The other thing I don't like is that he has to be played at the beginning of every hour, so you can only grind him once per hour. And then they stick the modules for the sword and stuff tied to him. It's just like they did with the Sigma Sector. The Sigma Sector, nobody really wanted to be there, but they put the arcade tuning there, and then they put the mutant cell box, and then they put the stuff you need to upgrade the component sets, and they just keep forcing you over there. You still got to go there daily if you want the red coins to buy stuff for your lounge. I mean, Sigma Sector was a terrible zone, but they just keep trying to force you into that, and they're gonna keep doing it with Axiom and anything new they come out, even if it sucks. Luna was a bright spot. I thought Luna was good. There is some good to it. And if you like skins, there's probably been plenty of those. The lounge is just ew. It was so bad. It just isn't what I thought it was gonna be, and customizing it isn't that good.
Not that fun, really.
Whatever. It just, I don't know. It just wasn't what I was hoping it would be. The new weapons are, I guess the launcher was okay. I guess that would be another kind of bright spot, but overall, I'm not impressed with the new season.
Another thing that bothers me that I don't think people noticed, or if they notice, they don't care, is that they keep saying, "Oh, if there's no grind, there's no game, because end game is only grind." Fine. Borderlands found a way to grind in game where they introduce new stuff. Every side mission within in Borderlands that we could have done before we finish the game, yeah, you're right, but we kind of like hold to it so we have something to do in game, not just do the same missions over and over. Those side missions, sometimes it felt even more elaborated than the main story of the game. I don't know why this game can't do something like that, where I don't want to keep playing the same missions I have been playing since the beginning of the game. I finish the story, and then the next thing I do is the invasion missions when I was trying to get Haley. And you said the invasion mission has new mechanics. Yeah, it did. Yeah, new mechanics that were quite annoying, but it was the same mission run backwards. It wasn't a new mission. It was the same missions from the story, cut in half, and we just ran it backwards, and we had to do some extra stuff and had to be able to get through the doors. That's it. Then they gave us the Sigma Sector that you would say, oh, that's new. It feels kind of like what is the name? But there's a desert in the game.
I can give it to you.
I forgot
Agna
the name.
Desert.
The Agna Desert. It feels like the Agna Desert with a yellow filter on it. And then you will say, oh, but they give us the Axiom planes. That we don't have anything like the Axiom planes. You're right. They're really flat and really and really boring. But the missions you do within them are pretty much the same that you can do in every other world. Like the patrols. Yeah, we have the Legion of Breach. That is a new type of enemy. I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it's a new thing. It feels like we are reusing content. The same with the Void Russian Purge. It's basically like the last mission of the story, but they took the roof.
No, that reminds me of those dream worlds from Vermintide from Fat Shark. It reminds me of
that too. But I mean, the mission itself, a lot of times it's the missions from the fortress without a roof. And it looked like they're more gray color. And I think there's one that looks like a holdout. That is from the mission where you had to kill that boss and she's ice and she traps you in a cage. It's the same mission. It's just have a different filter on it. So reusing so much content is what feels so repetitive in this game. And then, yeah, they give us the Void Vessel that is different. The story is a bit different. But then they say, no, you're going to be able to run it in different ways. And I guess that is my fault for thinking something else. But it's basically, instead of going through this door, you open this door and you go through that door. But the mission is the same. You just don't have access to the same corridor you went through the first time because the door is closed. But that corridor is still there. It's not changing. And I'm like I said, I think that is my fault because we came from Payday 2 and we came from Deep Rock Galactic. And those games create not a full new map, but the maps are different every time you play them. I was expecting something like that when we got the Void Vessel the first time.
I forgot to mention, Nell would have been another bright spot. So you had Nell, you had Luna.
Luna, yeah.
The ultimate Luna.
I like
and
the hover bikes, even if they are not. Yeah.
The hover bikes, I really don't care. I mean, they literally built the new Void Vessel in a way to use the hover bike because they just didn't have enough reason for it. And you can't even use it some places. So the hover bike, okay, I guess you could count that too. But the new zone is isn't great. What the thing that bothers me about this game is they I know it's free to play, so they focus on making money that way. We've spent some money on the game, not a ton, but we've spent some money on the game, and I have no problem with doing skins and stuff. I'm from a generation where that's not how I played video games, but it is the way it is now. So okay, and they need to make money somehow, right? They need to make money somehow. Destiny went free to play. It wasn't in the beginning, and then they sold expansions. And I don't know if this game ever will, but I wish one thing they could do, and it would make it more worthwhile for me. I don't want to give them a dime because I don't think they're doing a good job. And I know they said they don't want to do it, but one thing that bothers me that they don't do is a Halloween event. Why not do something like that? You're kind of celebrating it with Albion. Why not do something instead of just make me go do the Void Vessel half a dozen more times, or run around and do what I'm already doing?
Yeah.
I wish they would do stuff like that. Even if it's free, it takes time to develop it maybe, but if you get players that want to engage in your video game, they're probably more likely to buy skins. Another thing, there's so many, and we probably won't get over all of them, but another thing that out of other games that are similar to this one, the Descendants, for the most part, you like them because you like the way they look, or you like them because their abilities are really fun. But you don't care about, okay, I'm generalizing again, but I don't care about their personalities, really. Not really whatsoever. They give you like these exclusive quest lines for certain Descendants and stuff, and most of the time they're terrible. I would say Sharon's was okay. Sharon's was decent. Luna's I didn't think was good. I didn't really think Glaze was that good. We knew about Dai and stuff. I didn't really think Glaze was that good. Blair had one, I think. I didn't care about Blair. Freyna's was okay. Wasn't amazing. I'm missing some probably, but the only one that really sticks out to me that was okay is Sharon's, and her quest line was good, but as a Descendant, I still don't care. Their personalities aren't great, and maybe that's translation. It probably is better if you don't use a translation, but if I'm comparing it to something like Destiny, they took a lot of stuff from that game. The characters were better there. And I'm not just talking about Cade. The characters in general were better, I think, at least in the beginning, maybe not now. I know people aren't happy with that game anymore either, but I don't know how you fix that at this point, because you have so many. I don't know how you go back and change it or proceed in the future to make them better. You could make the new ones better, but I don't know how you would fix that. That's one thing that they had a problem with from the very beginning.
If they kill Serena off, are people going to be unhappy because she's so overpowered they can't use her anymore? Or because they actually care about the character? When I was playing Destiny and they killed Cade, I wasn't playing Cade, and I was devastated. It didn't affect my hunter at all. I didn't like it when they kill it because I actually create a connection with the character. I know that's harder to do when you're the one using the character and you have so many Descendants, but if they kill a Descendant, I will be bothered because I can use the Descendant powers, not because I care about the Descendant itself. Like if they kill Inez, I will be bothered because I like using Inez, not because I care about Inez. The same things we talk about in that January 1st video on 2025 is I wish they could introduce new missions that felt completely new to what already we have. And yeah, I'm fine grinding. I was actually even fine with the Amorphous Pattern grind, even before the target reward was a thing. But now they are making it so not easy. Now it's a time thing. Now you know you're going to get it. So with the target reward, which it was a good change at the beginning because people were really frustrated, they have made it to the point where if I'm targeting it, I know eventually if I did this mission 100 times, I'm going to get it. With Amorphous Pattern, at the beginning, I wasn't even sure if I was going to get it. So by the time I did, it was so rewarding.
Speaking about the grind, yeah, I agree with you and how the original Amorphous Patterns were, but the one thing that really bothers me is I like the pity system to some degree, but we had the shape stabilizers to help you, and sometimes it didn't feel like they did anything. And then they added the advanced shape stabilizer, which made it a lot easier to get. But then in short order, they basically removed the reason for that. For anybody that had gotten past that point, yeah, if you just start the game, this is nice and this helps everybody up to a certain point in the game. But for us that have been playing it forever, they just it didn't help anymore. I don't use those for really anything. If I'm trying to get a, like an energy activator or something, maybe, but I mean, I have tons and tons of these things that I never even use. And then they remove the annoyance, which is great. It's a quality of life thing of fighting the Colossus to get stuff. But again, for someone that is in the game and has played the game a lot, because it's been out for over a year, that doesn't matter to me. Yeah, it's easy to go to a nest and just open them now. But, and I know they said they're working on some. I don't know what they're going to do. I have very low expectations for it, but they said they wanted to do something different. So that's why they removed that, that thing to open the shape stabilizers. But yeah, they just have changed the grind a lot. Some for the goods, but some for the worst. And the target reward system is good, but the way they do it, I mean, coming back to the sword again, yeah, you can use it and get those parts. It takes forever, but you can get them. But then they made the material so bad that, okay, I pity systemed my way to get all the parts, which actually, honestly, I did. I think I got like 4 drops. Everything else was through the pity system. But it wouldn't have mattered because I had to run it a million times to get the materials. The grind is just all unbalanced right now, in my opinion. One last thing I kind of want to say, there's stuff we're not going to cover that I just can't think of because I didn't script it or anything. I knew things that were bothering me. But one last thing I kind of want to say is the Colossus fights. The last like real Colossus we got, not counting Wall Crasher, was Deathstalker, level 145. And then they added the Void Intercept Battle Void Abyss and Void Intercept Battle Challenge, the like super hard one that you can sweat it out and get leaderboards and stuff on. But for the most part, there's some new mechanics with like Lava Citadel. They added a couple new mechanics and stuff, but I mean, it's just so rinse and reusey of other ones. They haven't come up with a new one aside from Wall Crasher really, and they're just reusing them. And I wish they would give us more new ones. New mechanics, a lot of them are the same. And then when they come out with a new one, like Deathstalker was kind of interesting because it was different. You had to have all these shields and you had those like little totems you had to go to and find. Do stuff like that. There's things they could do to improve the game, but I haven't seen them do it yet.
So in summary, if you made it to the end of the video, what we wanted to say is that, yeah, they did some stuff that are good, like Neo. The Wall Crusher idea at the beginning was interesting, even if it's a really boring fight. Some of the stuff like they introduced later into the season, like for example Luna, all those things were good for the game, but overall I would say that this season have brought more bad than good and pushed away more players than they were expecting.
I think the game is in a downward trend right now. I think focusing on skins and less on content is not good for the game. I mean, it's not good for content. Maybe it's good for money, right now for a quick fix, but I don't think it's good for long term. I think that definitely hurts the game. And I also think, I know it's going to upset some people, but I honestly just don't care at all. I think Serena has been hard on the game as well. Trying to figure out, I mean, we had a Ness that was really strong, and then they did a small nerf to her. She's still really, really good. But I think they're really scared to release stuff, have it be overpowered, something they overlooked in a build or whatever, or players figuring things out, because if there's a way to do it, players will figure out a way to do it. So I think Serena in general has been not healthy for the game, and I don't know if they know what to do about it. So those are like some of the big things that in my opinion are definitely making the game trend downwards for sure.
And again guys, we are doing these videos because we like the game. We want it to do good. We don't want the game to die after only being out for a year. We want this game to be similar to what Frame is doing, or even Destiny, until Destiny wasn't welcome anymore. We want this game to do well. We want content, we want players to stay, new players to come along. So when we make these videos, the main concern is that we feel like the devs are making the same mistakes they were doing 6 months ago and not doing anything to change it or to improve it. So the game keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And at the end of the day, if there is no money, Nexon is going to say, we're done. And we don't want that to happen, at least not anytime soon. So that was everything for today's video, guys. Let us know down in the comments how you feel about the game right now. If you agree with us, you disagree, and why. And thank you so much for watching.